Happy 2021. And I know you're glad to have made it here because 2020 was one heck of a bad year. So let's go ahead and talk about where the market's headed for 2021 for housing market here in Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson. Hey everybody, it's Eric Hudson, your local real estate agent in Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson. And I'm here to talk about the most important thing. Where's the market going? And what do you need to do and what moves you need to make in order to take advantage of the market this year? Well, first of all, let's talk about what happened in 2021. Well, it was a doozy. As you know, 2021 was one for the record books for multiple reasons. Biggest reason? The prices, the inventory, the low interest rates. You know, in 2020, prices rose to the highest levels they've ever been here in Clark County, Nevada. The highest level ever. Yet that kind of hides a few things. And maybe I'll get into the stories a little bit later. But right now, we got to talk about what's important. Prices are at the highest ever, yet with the low interest rates, the payments are still affordable. Right now, the Fed has indicated they're not going to touch interest rates for all of 2021 and possibly through 2022 because they don't want to ruin a good thing here. Housing drives so many markets and they don't want it to fall off a cliff because there's a lot out there that they've invested in because 2021 is our make or break year. Let's be honest, 2020, there were a lot of indications we were going to have a recession in 2020, even before the coronavirus hit. And you know what? There was a recession. But what happened? The government came in. Remember those little checks you got from the government? Those who were unemployed? Some of them made more money than when they were working. That's really interesting. And then we got all these other issues we have to still deal with and unwind in 2021. People who didn't pay their rent. People who didn't pay their mortgage because they didn't have to. They have forbearance. They'll worry about it later. Well, 2021 can be the year of reckoning. Pretty soon, the rent moratorium is going to be gone. What's going to happen then? All of those landlords, are they going to take a chance, let the people stay? Or are they going to sell? Could that loosen up a little bit of inventory for you? And what happens to that inventory? Remember, we had renters in there. There is a reason they have an expression called, don't worry, it's a rental. So we got to figure out what's going to happen in that market. Here are my predictions for 2021. First, after those renters leave or have to start paying back, some of them are going to go like, oh, yeah, I didn't pay my rent. And the landlord's going to report that, which means after they kick me out, no one else is ever going to rent to me again. I won't be able to buy a house. I may not be able to get a job because remember, jobs now look at your credit. So if you don't pay it back, they're going to be ruined. What about the landlords who, in my opinion, the government shafted real hard? Wait a minute. So you're telling me I can't collect rent, but you still want your taxes and everything else, and I have to maintain the house to be livable, or you're going to come after me? Can you imagine how frustrating that is? Well, at some point, I think the government is going to do something about it and give some relief to those landlords, and we're going to see where it goes. They have to, because you can't just have landlords getting shafted, not getting paid, being required to still pay taxes, still pay for maintenance on their properties, and still maintain them to be habitable. Can you imagine not paying rent and then suing somebody saying they made a place uninhabitable for you to live? My goodness. Well, that is something that's out there. So 2021, I see upheaval there. prices, I'm hoping are going to start to slow down, because it is really getting out of reach for a lot of people. And that's where I want to get back to talking about that, the highest prices ever. Well, overall, the prices are the highest ever, but it's disproportional. Houses that were priced the lowest back at the bottom of the market, which here in Las Vegas, which is about March 2012. So that was the low point of prices. Well, they've gone up. Those houses got down to, some of those houses, like nice houses, $85,000. Well, those are the $300,000 houses now. And if you do a little bit of math, that's almost 400% growth.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, that leads to high prices. But guess what? Let's say the houses that were $200,000, they're $400,000 houses now. Wait a minute, how's that work? This house here went from 80 to 300. This house went from 2 to 4. Yeah, it doubled, but it wasn't 4x. That's an unfortunate thing about what's going on here, because certain parts of town had phenomenal growth. Purely because they were so low priced, they got pushed past where they probably should have been. There are houses I saw that before the market crashed back in 2008 were $1.25 million houses. At the bottom of the market, they were selling for $350,000. Wow. Well, if we're at all-time highs, those should be $1.5 million houses. No, those are the $650,000 houses right now. So we have this interesting little thing where you use these little stratas. And let's say you go into a $300,000 house. I want you to have your real estate professional take you to a $400,000, no, amend that, a $450,000 house. Hair will be blown back. I don't have much hair, but you know, your hair will be blown back with what you're going to see. Then have them take you to a $600,000 house. You'll be floored, because these small little price differences are a huge lever here in Las Vegas area now. So these are things you need to think about. So 2021, be thinking about the possibility of looking for a new home. When I say new, I mean a new builder. They are offering tremendous incentives, and you get in at the right time. Go with your realtor, because they don't want to tick the realtors off, because when the economy turns off, they're only businesses from realtors. So they don't want to tick those realtors off. Go with your realtor. They'll be able to get you something good, and it doesn't cost you anything. So let's start just looking at your battle plan for 2021. Interest rates should stay low through the end of the year. They're probably bottom out. They may go up just a little bit, just a little. But remember, historic lows, historic lows. Get your credit straight. Get it straight now and get into a home, because we don't know how long these low interest rates are going to last, because they are a huge lever. Just the interest rates alone, the difference between what they were just a few years ago and what they are now, we're talking enough where it darn near pays for $100,000 in the increase in price of a home, $150,000, wherever the price range you're in. That does it. When interest rates start going up, it's going to be much, much worse than the price of housing going up. Sometimes I see people arguing over literally $1,000. And it's like, you want to take a chance on arguing over $1,000? I mean, literally, I've seen this. When you can get into a home now at 2.7% interest rates. I can't quote interest. I'm not a lender. But I'm just speculating. Why would you take that chance? Do you know that is just a few dollars a month? It's less than this pair of scissors. You can buy this pair of scissors on Amazon or something, and it's the difference of buying a pair of scissors like this every month for your difference of $1,000. And you're going to sit there and risk it when we have multiple offers many times on a lot of these houses. So go out there, get your game plan set, and be prepared to get yourself a new home. So this year, I plan to get deeper and deeper into the mindset that you need to get yourself a new home, and for the sellers to get your home sold. Because sometimes you're being sold a bill of goods. As a matter of fact, just about 2 days ago, I got an email from a lady. I didn't realize she was not here in Las Vegas. She was in another state. And she was on one of my programs where it sends the automatic home value. She sends me an email saying that my value is off because some realtor said her house was worth about $50,000 more. I'm like, okay, well, automatic home values like the Zillow's estimate, they're off. They can't see your home. They have to just go by what's in the ether. So I was like, hey, if you want me to, I'll take a look at your home. And I just took a look at the address. I'm like, wait a minute. This house is in another state. Now, doing the best that I could without knowing that local market, it was like, in reality, this estimate is pretty spot on. And usually when I get emails like that from sellers, it's because they believe that their house is worth more than it is because that's the way they feel. But when they shut it down, their feelings down, and they go out and actually like try to shop as a buyer, they shop as a buyer. Remember, when you're selling your house, it has to be sold to a buyer. They pay what the market is worth, not what you feel, okay? And in the end, even if they were willing to give you what you feel, there's this little person called the appraiser. We'll get into that a little bit later and down the line. And they set how much the bank will pay, and most people don't have any extra money to bring in. They pulled out everything in order to have their down payment and closing costs, unless you're going to pay their closing costs, which you don't want to do either. So that's all it is to it. So 2021 is going to be a great year. Stick with me this year. And if you like what I'm talking about, go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button. And either up here or down here, not too sure right now because YouTube is funny where they let you put stuff, is going to be a link to the next video where I'm going to get even deeper into what's going on. See you guys later.